these are the two big hand grenades in the diet that we see, is the refined sugar, refined flour, because they're both kind of the same, and then the bad oils, and that's your seed oils. Seed oils were meant to be used on machinery when they were first brought out, but the manufacturers and grocery people soon find out that those oils did not go rancid like good oils can. So they thought, well, if we can get by with it, we'll just sell these because they last on the shelf a lot longer. The problem is they're they cause a lot of inflammation in the body and sets the body up for, again, more and more problems. They actually get into the cell walls of the body, cause all kind of problems, these bad oils. And so we want to stay with the good oils. Now, the interesting thing is that these good oils were poo-pooed years back, but they're kind of making a comeback, and you have to understand how oils work in the body. But the good oils, of course, are butter, extra virgin olive oil. Some people even get along with avocado oil, but again, depends how it's processed. But organic coconut oil, your lard, and your tallow. Those are the good oils that people have used forever and ever and ever. And it's only been in the last few decades that this cholesterol myth has been put out there, and that all that these saturated fats are all bad, and they cause cholesterol. And that's not true at all. It's this that causes the cholesterol. It's the inflammation from the insulin being in high amounts in the blood vessels that causes the blood vessels to be irritated, crack, whatever. The body puts cholesterol to plaque that up so you don't bleed to death. And so it's this that causes the problems with the plaquing in the arteries. And it's not the good oils, but the bad oils too can lead towards that. And the bad oils are like a negative oil. Not only are they not good for you, but they're bad for you. So we want to get people to use the good oils. The other side of that is they are harder to digest. People are already having liver issues. They have a hard time digesting good oils. But that's where your vitamin A, D, E, and K come from. Vitamin D, all of that good stuff. Vitamin A for the eyes, vitamin E for the skin, and K for the blood. So really important to be able to get good oils. The bad oils are an opposite to that. They actually remove those things. So we want to be aware of those two big stressors and try to stay away from them as much as possible during the holidays. Now again, back to here, there's so many good bakers. These gals have been baking for a long time. They do a really good job. So have just one. Don't just sit there all afternoon and just eat them. And then if I could say something to the bakers, don't bake 500 dozen of these things so you're eating them for the next 6 months. Make once people can try it, but then, it's nice and things, but, don't live on that stuff because it is very hard on the body. And sugar, people don't realize, is much more habit-forming, addictive than cocaine, than alcohol. So when people start eating this stuff, well, they get addicted to it. If they eat it over a very long period of time, then they think they have to have it all the time. And then when they get addicted to the high amounts of sugar, that sweet taste, then other foods don't taste good. So like, you used to have like a salad that was okay, but now that you eat all the sugar, well, salads don't taste good. I don't want all those vegetables, they don't taste good. So you have to realize what you do to yourself when you eat a lot of sugars in there. And then again, with the bad oils, very damaging to the health. Now I wanted to point out too, another stressor is just relatives. It's just crowds, just other people that are around. And so the social interactions that happen there, if you, and I'm putting this back onto the sugar thing, if you had a big bunch of cookies and you're kind of high on sugar high, and then the insulin goes way high, and then your blood sugar goes way down, and you get real moody and depressed. And pretty soon you're arguing with somebody, and pretty soon you walked out the door, slammed the door, and took off in the car, and then you ruined the whole thing. And so a lot of times these problems in families are not so much the people themselves, but what they're eating. And then when they have these fights, well, then nobody wants to reconcile. So it's a thing to realize that, it's not always a person's viewpoint or whatever. It's that you're already hyped up either on sugar or you're down in a valley because of the sugar, or because of the insulin causing the low blood sugar. And if that's going up and down all day, you can imagine people not getting along and that kind of stuff, and then, all that kind of thing. And so anyway, that can lead to things. And if you realize that, you'll know not to do that, and then just keep an even keel. not let yourself get excited, not let somebody else piss you off, because you have to realize that you let somebody make you mad. They don't make you get mad. You get mad because you react to them. So don't do that. Try to understand there are ways of doing that. So that's a big stressor that we see, when people come in, and I been around long enough to hear people that have had arguments. They don't talk to their brothers or sisters or family for, years or even decades. And that's such a shame. And a lot of it can come from what they've eaten those days. And especially if it's the third or fourth Christmas party, you put alcohol in there and all kinds of things, and you have problems. So that's some big stressors. I think that's enough. I just want to make sure that we wish everybody a Merry Christmas from everybody here at Natural Health. Thanks for all those that have come to us this year. Hopefully we've helped a lot of people. We have a nice wall of success. We have pictures of everybody, and people do very well with those who stay on the diets and take the nutrition and understand as we teach them what the diet is doing to the body and how they can do so well. So again, we appreciate all that. Make sure if you're talking to people that have problems, let them know that we're here to help. We have free consultations to explain to people what we do here and how, and we are definitely different, but that's the whole point. We're not following mainstream, a problem defines a diagnosis, defines a medication. We're actually looking at the underlying causes of things and what you can do to help stop that problem by fixing the underlying cause, and then the body regains health and you don't have to be on a lot of medications and drugs and all that kind of stuff. So again, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'll turn it over to Dr. Chip, and we'll see you in the new year.
All right, thank you. Okay, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year when we get to that point. Again, I'm Dr. Chip. We're going to keep going here. So again, we're getting into the holiday season. We're getting into more of the sweets, the sugary foods, the different things there. And again, we're going to have those here and there. We're going to want to eat something. Some of those, again, cookies or hot chocolate or marshmallows or candy canes or what have you. But again, they have their moments, they have their places. And so we want to make sure that as we get into the season, that we're not getting so much, you would say, overindulgent, or we're not going almost, you would say, berserk, but we're not falling into this trap of, have one and have 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 5 for this day, and then the next day, and the next day, and then it just kind of continues the cycle. And so again, we want to make sure to be aware of things and be able to at least find a balance, find a better way to reframe our mindset of how we kind of approach the season here too. And so a lot of times too is that when we do get into these so-called eating habits, or get kind of more of this way of eating sugary foods and everything, it can be a lot more due to how we're able to regulate our bodies, how we're able to balance out our brain and body in however way everybody is. Everybody's individually a part of that. So again, sometimes it's as easy as being able to regulate ourselves before we get kind of caught up into having to have that food before, again, taking a breath or having a glass of water or anything like that. And so again, going back to the cookies, the sweets, all that, again, they're going to be there. But again, how can we, in a sense, help ourselves to regulate or reframe during the stress that we might be having there? And so when we go back to it, a lot of things are necessarily relative. And again, you could say, getting with the relatives and all that. I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about relative. And so what is hard for some people can be easier for others, just because different practices and all that. Say a professional athlete, professional baseball player, he's going to be able to hit that 85 mile per hour fastball pretty easy. He's kind of worked with it pretty well. But again, if you pitch that to an amateur player that hasn't played in years and years, yeah, that's going to be pretty relatively hard for that person. And so again, that's going to be many different factors. Again, you could say is that in the holiday season, people are kind of getting ready for these different things here and there. Some things can be easier for others. So you would say like cooking or baking, that can be easier for some people, and some people aren't kind of geared towards that. And so maybe they have another role to play, or maybe their duty is in another other way of being. So again, we want to make sure to see that things are there can be relative in that standpoint, and so we don't want to say that hey, this thing is hard or easy. When we're able to reframe that, then again we can actually see it differently. And so the more the reframe of making it relative there, seeing the relative is saying that again it could be useful, or if that's useless, sometimes it can be useful in those reframing situations. And so when we want to make sure to see that, we're able to go through this holiday season, when we're able to be aware to regulate ourselves, that's again very useful to be able to do that. And so, or just to see things that can be relative can be very useful for us, because when the glass hits the floor or the stuff hits the fan, stuff like different things there. Again, the glass breaks, it can be cleaned. Stuff shatters, but it can be mended. And so it's being able to see that even if these things happen, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not all that made up to be. So again, we can at that moment help ourselves to regulate, to be more at ease, more calm. And so again, this helps us in those times of the not having to have the sugary foods all the time. And so again, it's up to us there too. It's a choice. So we can choose to go into the season, you would say, having this back and forth of being stressed out all the time, or we can choose to take breaks, be at ease, help to kind of see Christmas or the holidays for what they are, rather than making this strenuous big deal of everything. And again, that's great that everything can be a big deal, and that's good to have a lot of good family fun and everything. But we don't want to make ourselves to that point where we're getting so overwhelmed that we have to do everything this way and that way, and we have the should do's and the must haves and all that. So being able to regulate that. Now I put this graph up here because this is actually a heart rate variability graph, and what this shows is our heart rate variability in different times. And so, like we said there too, we have a choice to go into the season differently. And so again, when we reframe or we find things that are relative here and there, because what I'm going to say this too, relative, you have a family to go to, you get presents, or you're able to send presents to somebody, or you're able to spend time or spend your holidays with people that your friends or family. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. So again, being able to actually take a gratitude or appreciation for that can really not only help in those times of the stress, but again, it can actually help our health. And so when we get frustrated, when we get stressed, or we're not able to regulate all of that, this is kind of what that graph shows. This is our heart rate variability when we're having that kind of response to what's going on. But when we show appreciation, when we're grateful for things, when we are spending good quality time or enjoying time with others, that appreciation, again, that's actually helping ourselves to balance out, to regulate more. And so, like we said, is that when we go into the season differently with a different attitude or mindset, it can make all the difference. And so, again, rather than you would say making this holiday season so chaotic and everything, and again, maybe there are times that happens when we're able to go into the season and be able to say, hey, well, I'm going to enjoy whatever's going on. I'm going to be there for people. I'm going to give people gifts. I'm going to receive gifts too. I'm going to enjoy getting gifts from other people and actually be appreciative of that. Again, that's a different attitude. And then again, just really breathing and taking it all in. Again, we've been through a lot as a whole nation, a whole country, states, cities, communities. We've had COVID, we've had all these things, and people are getting, way, you would say, stressed out or frustrated or everything like that. But again, Christmas is not a time to get, go back into that mindset or that mode that we have to do all these things and, be everywhere. It's more of really just being present and being able to breathe in or enjoy the Christmas spirit about helping other people and giving back and appreciating our time with others. That's really what, again, the season's all about. And so I encourage you not to be so Grinch-like, but again, the Grinch in that movie, of course, he had to change his attitude about things. He was able to see that there is a lot of good that comes out of it, and that we just have to, again, change our story or our mindset about it. That really helps us to see that, hey, this is a time to come together and to be a part of something bigger than what we are. And so again, you can see Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Again, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but I hope, again, you gained a lot of, a different way of seeing things, or able to see that we are able to help ourselves and to regulate our brain and bodies, and to come into the season healthy and happy, and to come out very healthy and happy. And so again, encouraging you to keep moving forward with any of your goals or intentions. But again, as we go into the new year here, to really, again, be appreciative of what's all we've had and what we've gone through. And so again, that does it for us tonight. You can always follow us at Natural Health Quincy IL at Facebook, YouTube, Brighteon, and Instagram. You can subscribe to our email list at naturalhealthquincy.com. The number is 217-228-2040. We're located at 2000 Jefferson Street in Quincy, Illinois. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week and a great holiday season. And we will catch back up with you in January. Thank you so much.